Birdman is accused of killing some of his homies.
There was a rumor that Birdman's song, What Happened to That Boy, was a reference to Yellow Boy's murder.
While some predicted their own deaths.
But there ain't gonna be no hate like, the city where you...
And others are now registered sex offenders.
Have to participate in different groups and stuff like that twice a month.
Birdman's homies have some wild lives, starting with Terrance Gangster Williams. Born in 1974 in New Orleans, Terrance Gangster Williams is the half-brother of Cash Money co-founders Birdman and Slim Williams, sharing the same father who reportedly had around 25 children from various relationships. Growing up amid poverty, his family moved to the dangerous Collard Projects when he was 7, exposing him to violence early. At age 7, he witnessed his first murder, normalizing street life. By 9, he was hustling. By 11, selling marijuana and stealing cars. His nickname originated in juvenile jail from a friend called Killer Stone. Williams idolized Birdman, who was a street millionaire by age 16. At 11, Birdman put a gun to his head as a lesson, then ordered him to commit his first murder, shooting a young man 3 times. By 12-13, Williams transitioned to crack and heroin, inspired by Birdman and brother Eldridge Wise, who were arrested for drug possession in 1987. He connected with peers in the Magnolia Projects, forming bonds that led to murders by age 13. In his teens, Williams became a key enforcer for Birdman and Slim. By age 15, he had killed 6 people, evading arrests due to New Orleans' no-snitch culture. He formed the Hot Boy Street Crew in Magnolia Projects, a group focused on drug trafficking and enforcement. Williams later suggested this name for Birdman's rap group during a 1997 tour bus breakdown. He claims informal investments in Cash Money by leaving drug profits with Birdman. Williams was arrested for murder 6 times, but all cases were dropped. In 1993, he pleaded guilty to attempted murder after shooting a man 10 times, receiving only probation. His downfall came in 1998 when the FBI caught him plotting to murder New York drug dealers. He pleaded guilty to engaging in a continuing criminal enterprise, receiving life plus 20 years. Williams has confessed to involvement in up to 40 murders, earning him the label of Birdman's most dangerous hitman. He was shot 6 times across incidents. To reduce his sentence, Williams cooperated in 2008, earning him the world's biggest snitch label from Boosie Badaza. Williams was released on January 3, 2022, at age 47, after Judge Yvonne Lamel reduced his sentence to 27.5 years. He now works 2 jobs in Dallas, runs nonprofit Hug the Block, and is developing a documentary. His relationship with Birdman remained strained. Birdman hung up on him post-release. Behind every flashy figure ruling the streets stood a quieter force, a man who rarely spoke but controlled the money, the contracts, and the future of an empire. While one brother chased power through fear, the other built his dominance through silence and business precision. Ronald Slim Williams, born May 23, 1967 in New Orleans' 3rd Ward. Slim Williams grew up learning business from his father's grocery store. Standing at 6 foot 7 inches, he earned nicknames like Slim the Don for his behind-the-scenes influence. Unlike Birdman, Slim focused on operations rather than rapping. In the early 1990s, Slim co-founded Cash Money Records with Birdman, starting by selling tapes from their car. Their breakthrough came with the Hot Boys in 1997. By 1998, they signed a landmark $30 million distribution deal with Universal, retaining master ownership, a rare concession earning them dollars per unit versus pennies. In 1999 alone, they sold over 9 million records, driven by Juvenile's 400 Degrees. The label's catalog is estimated at $300 million, contributing to Slim's $150 million net worth. While never directly implicated in crimes, Slim was integral to Cash Money's operations, allegedly funded by street money. Half-brother Terrance Gangster Williams allegedly provided up to $100,000 in drug proceeds as seed money. Federal investigations in the late 1990s scrutinized the label for potential money laundering, but no charges were filed. Slim has been implicated in numerous financial exploitation scandals. In 2015, Lil Wayne sued Cash Money for $51 million, alleging unpaid advances and withheld royalties. Juvenile left in 2002, BG and Turk departed, and Manny Fresh exited in 2005, all over financial disputes. These patterns paint Slim as prioritizing profits over fair compensation. Slim continues operating Cash Money from Miami, maintaining his low profile while overseeing business operations. Despite scandals and artist departures, Cash Money still generates substantial revenue. His net worth remains at $150 million. Though his legacy is complicated by exploitation allegations, as the empire grew, its focus shifted from the streets to the studio. The next chapter would hinge not on bullets but on bars, a child prodigy molded by loyalty, ambition, and dangerous mentorship. Lil Wayne, born September 27, 1982. Lil Wayne rose from New Orleans' Holly Grove neighborhood. At age 9, he caught Birdman's attention, who became a father figure. Wayne got tattoos referencing Birdman as dad. He joined the Hot Boys in 1997, and his solo breakthrough came with Thou Block Is Hot 1999. Wayne Style Carter III sold over 1 million copies first week, featuring hits like Lollipop. He founded Young Money Entertainment in 2005, signing Drake and Nicki Minaj. By the 2010s, he'd sold over 120 million records worldwide. The feud with Birdman escalated in December 2014 when Wayne tweeted frustration over Thou Carter V delays. In January 2015, he filed a $51 million lawsuit against Cash Money, seeking unpaid funds and contract termination. The suit detailed how Cash Money allegedly mishandled $100 million from Universal. They settled in 2018. Wayne received over $10 million, gained Young Money ownership, and Thou Carter V was finally released. In April 2015, Wayne's tour buses were shot at in Atlanta with over a dozen bullets. Jimmy Carlton Pee Wee Roscoe Winfrey was convicted for the shooting. A June 2015 indictment revealed Winfrey called Birdman shortly after, alleging Birdman and Young Thug conspired to intimidate Wayne. Wayne's legal troubles included 2007 NYC arrest, finding a .40 caliber pistol, served 8 months at Riker. 2008 Arizona arrest with drugs and weapons. 2019 Miami arrest, finding a gold-plated handgun on his jet. He faced 10 years, but President Trump pardoned him in January 2021. Wayne remains active, releasing Thou Carter VI in June 2025. He resides in a $29 million Miami Beach mansion. Years later, the echoes of that same empire would ripple through a new generation, a flamboyant, unpredictable artist who blurred the lines between loyalty and rivalry, music and mayhem. Young Thug, born August 16, 1991 in Atlanta's Jonesboro South Apartments. Young Thug called Gucci Mane's attention in 2013, signing to 1017 Brick Squad. His breakthrough came with Stoner and Danny Glover, showcasing unique ad-libs. He won a Grammy for This Is America in 2019. Young Thug's ties to Birdman began around 2014 when he joined Rich Gang, releasing Rich Gang The Tour Part 1 featuring hit Lifestyle. In July 2015, Young Thug and Birdman were named as co-conspirators in a plot to murder Lil Wayne. Prosecutors allege Young Thug orchestrated the attack, with Birdman providing the directive. On May 9, 2022, Young Thug and 26 YSL affiliates were indicted under Georgia's Rico Act, allegedly operating a criminal street gang since 2012. He faced charges including conspiracy to violate Rico, gang participation, drugs, and guns. After 96 days in jail on October 31, 2024, Young Thug pleaded guilty in a non-negotiated deal. He was sentenced to 40 years, 5 years commuted to time served, 15 years probation, and 20-year backload if violated. Conditions include 10-year ban from Metro Atlanta and no gang-related music. The 2015 plot is one of hip-hop's most shocking beefs. Amid Wayne's $51 million lawsuit, Young Thug dissed Wayne, renaming his mixtape Carter 6. The bus shooting was cited in the Rico case as evidence of gang activity. The Rico trial, starting November 27, 2023, became Georgia's longest ever. Young Thug is currently on probation, residing outside Metro Atlanta. But before that next wave took over, one of the first believers in the vision helped shape the sound of the South. A young hustler turned rapper whose street stories defined an era of realness and rebellion. BG, Christopher Noel Dorsey, known as BG Baby Gangster, was born September 3, 1980 in New Orleans' Uptown neighborhood. Growing up in extreme poverty, he was discovered by Slim Williams at age 12, becoming one of Cash Money's first artists. He joined the Hot Boys in 1997 alongside Lil Wayne, Juvenile, and Turk, and their 1999 album Guerrilla Warfare went platinum. BG's solo career peaked with Chopper City in the Ghetto 1999, which went platinum and featured the hit Bling Bling, a term he's credited with popularizing.
However, by the mid-2000s, tensions with Cash Money grew. In 2001, BG left the label, citing unpaid royalties and creative differences. He signed with Coach Records, but never reached the same commercial heights. BG's criminal record is extensive. In 2009, he was arrested in New Orleans after a traffic stop revealed 3 guns and a bag of marijuana as a convicted felon. This violated his probation. He pleaded guilty to gun possession and witness tampering. He tried to have the guns removed before police arrived. In 2012, he was sentenced to 14 years in federal prison. During his incarceration, BG focused on rehabilitation, completing educational programs, and converting to Islam. In 2023, after serving 11 years, he was released early for good behavior. Post-release, he's performed at concerts and expressed interest in mentoring young artists. BG remains active in the New Orleans hip-hop scene. He's working on new music and reconciling with former Cash Money associates. His relationship with Birdman remains complicated. While they've appeared together at events, underlying tensions from the financial disputes persist. Then came the hitmaker who turned neighborhood slang into national anthems, the artist who gave Cash Money its first true crossover moment and learned that success can't silence betrayal. Juvenile. Terrance Gray, professionally known as Juvenile, was born March 26, 1975 in New Orleans' Magnolia Projects. Discovered by Cash Money in the mid-1990s, his 1998 album 400 Degrees became Cash Money's first multi-platinum success, selling over 4 million copies. The hit single Back That Ass Up became a cultural phenomenon, defining the Cash Money sound. Despite this success, Juvenile left Cash Money in 2002 amid disputes over unpaid royalties and creative control. He claimed the label owed him millions and felt Birdman prioritized Lil Wayne over other artists. After leaving, Juvenile signed with Atlantic Records, releasing You've the Great, 2003, which went platinum. However, he never matched 400 Degrees' success. In 2006, Juvenile's daughter, Jelani, and her mother, Joni, were murdered in their home by Joni's brother, who then committed suicide. This tragedy devastated Juvenile and temporarily withdrew from music. He briefly reconciled with Cash Money in 2014, appearing on compilations, but disputes lingered over limited creative freedom. Juvenile's criminal record includes minor incidents. In the 1990s, he faced charges for possession of marijuana and traffic violations, typical of New Orleans street life. However, he's largely avoided serious legal troubles compared to peers, focusing instead on music and family. Juvenile remains active in hip-hop. He tours regularly, performing hits from his Cash Money era. He's also become an advocate for artists' rights, speaking publicly about financial exploitation in the music industry. His relationship with Birdman remains professional, but distant. Where one found fame, another found tragedy. The next member of the crew would learn that escaping the streets was harder than outrunning his own past, especially when it came knocking in uniform. Tab Virgil Jr., known as Turk, was born November 8, 1981 in New Orleans' Magnolia Projects. As the youngest member of the Hot Boys, Turk was discovered by Cash Money in the mid-1990s. The group's success launched his career, but like his peers, he left Cash Money in 2002 over financial disputes. Turk's life took a dark turn in 2004. On January 16th, he was involved in a shootout with Memphis police that left Sergeant Timothy Heldorfer paralyzed. Turk claimed self-defense, but was convicted of attempted second-degree murder. He was sentenced to 14 years in federal prison. During his incarceration, Turk focused on rehabilitation, completing educational programs, and converting to Islam. In 2023, after serving 11 years, he was released early for good behavior. Post-release, he's performed at concerts and expressed interest in mentoring young artists. Turk remains active in the New Orleans hip-hop scene. He's working on new music and reconciling with former Cash Money associates. His relationship with Birdman remains professional, but distant. Long before those chart-topping days, another name echoed in New Orleans corners. A man whose loyalty fractured, whose anger exploded, and whose story ended in gunfire that still sparks whispers decades later. Yellow Boy. Albert Yellow Boy Thomas, born around 1975 in New Orleans, was a founding member of UNLV, Uptown F&B Living Violent, alongside Tech Nine and Lil Ya. The group released albums on Cash Money in the mid-1990s, contributing to the label's early success. Yellow Boy's life was marked by violence. He was involved in a notorious incident where he allegedly shot up Birdman's mother's house and car over a financial dispute. This betrayal was shocking, given their close association. In March 1997, Yellow Boy was shot and killed in New Orleans, allegedly in retaliation for the Birdman incident. He was 22. His murder remains officially unsolved, but street rumors tie it to Cash Money associates. Some claim Birdman ordered the hit, though no evidence supports this. Yellow Boy's death became part of Cash Money lore, symbolizing the dangerous intersection of street life and music industry. Yellow Boy is remembered in New Orleans hip-hop history. Memorial pages commemorate him, and his UNLV music remains influential in bounce and trap genres. In the same city, another voice was rising, raw, poetic, and prophetic. He told the truth about street life because he lived it, and it ultimately claimed him in the most haunting way possible. Soulja Slim. James O'Darrell Tapp Jr., known as Soulja Slim, also Magnolia Slim, was born September 9, 1977. Though primarily associated with No Limit Records, he collaborated with Cash Money artists and was part of the broader New Orleans hip-hop scene connected to Birdman. Soulja Slim's music reflected street life authentically.
His albums Give It To Him Raw in 1998 and The Streets Made Me 2000 earned critical acclaim. In 2003, he signed with Cash Money, signaling a major shift. Tragically, on November 26, 2003, Soulja Slim was shot and killed outside his mother's house in New Orleans. He was 26. The murder remains unsolved, though theories abound about robbery or retaliation. Ironically, he had talked about rappers getting killed in their own city. His death deeply impacted New Orleans hip-hop. Juvenile's Slow Motion featuring Soulja Slim's vocals, recorded before his death, became a posthumous hit in 2004, reaching #1 on Billboard. Soulja Slim is remembered as a New Orleans legend. Annual memorials honor him, and his influence is evident in modern trap music. Years later, a new face emerged, carrying that same New Orleans fire, young, hungry, and fearless, chasing fame under the same banner that once turned hustlers into legends and legends into targets. BTY Young, Jerome BTY Young, was an emerging New Orleans rapper connected to Birdman's Rich Gang collective. Born in the early 1990s, he represented the next generation of Cash Money affiliated artists. BTY's career was gaining momentum when tragedy struck. On October 28, 2016, he was shot and killed at a gas station in New Orleans after an altercation. He was in his mid-20s. Police identified jealousy and a dispute over money as motives. Daquan Robertson was convicted of second-degree murder in BTY's death. The killing shocked the hip-hop community, with Birdman deleting all Instagram photos and posting a memorial. BTY's death highlighted ongoing violence in New Orleans rap scene. His potential was cut short, leaving behind a small discography fans still celebrate. BTY is remembered in New Orleans hip-hop. Memorial posts appear annually, and his story serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers young artists face. But fate seemed to repeat itself. Another rising star, just steps away from mainstream glory, would meet the same violent end that has stalked so many before him, blurring hope with heartbreak once again. Young greatness. Theodore Jones, known as Young Greatness, was born in 1984 in New Orleans. He gained attention with his 2015 single Moolah, which became a regional hit. Birdman signed him to Rich Gang in 2016, seeing his potential. Young Greatness was building momentum when on October 29, 2018, he was shot and killed at a Waffle House in New Orleans. He was 34. The murder appeared to be a robbery gone wrong. Donald Dickerson was convicted of second-degree murder in 2021. Two others were identified as accomplices. The trial revealed the killers targeted Young Greatness for jewelry and money. His death devastated the New Orleans community. Young Greatness had been giving back through charity work and mentoring young artists. His murder highlighted the persistent danger facing successful artists returning to their neighborhoods. Young Greatness is remembered fondly. Memorial events honor his legacy, and his family continues advocating for violence prevention. Not every story ended in death, some in disgrace. As fame and fortune took hold, one artist's demons pulled him from the stage to the courtroom, turning talent into tragedy and redemption into relapse. Michael Tyler, Mystical, born September 22, 1970 in New Orleans, had a complicated relationship with Cash Money. Initially with no limit, Birdman signed him in 2011 after his release from prison. Mystical's career includes hits like Shake Your Ass and Danger. However, his life has been marked by serious criminal charges. In 2003, he was convicted of sexual battery and sentenced to 6 years. After his release and Cash Money signing, more allegations emerged. In 2017, he was arrested for rape. Those charges were later dropped. In 2022, he was indicted for first-degree rape charges, facing a potential life sentence. Mystical's case remains in legal limbo. He's been held since 2022, with his musical legacy overshadowed by ongoing legal issues. Long before the world knew those songs or scandals, there were others. Men who never touched the microphone, yet built the empire's foundation with blood money and back-alley deals that fueled the dream. Eldridge Wise. Eldridge Wise, born around 1972, was one of the original Hot Boy Street Crew members and Birdman's brother. He was deeply involved in the New Orleans drug trade during the 1980s and 1990s. Donnie's criminal activities focused on drug distribution and enforcement. He worked alongside Terrance Gangster Williams and Sterling, helping establish Cash Money Street funding. Donnie was murdered in 1994 in New Orleans, allegedly over a drug dispute. His death devastated the family and crew, with Terrance Williams later cooperating to help solve his case. Donnie is remembered in New Orleans street lore as one of Cash Money's founding street figures whose violent death marked the dangerous era of the label's origins. But every empire built on the streets demands a toll. The next Soulja learned that lesson brutally as the city drowned in retaliation and fear. One man's story would come to symbolize the relentless cycle that turned young hustlers into legends and then into ghosts. Mosquito. Mosquito, full name John Bryant, was Terrance Gangster Williams' closest associate in the Hot Boy Street Crew. Born in the 1970s in New Orleans, he operated from the Magnolia Projects alongside Sterling and Donnie. Mosquito's criminal record included numerous murders, robberies, and drug operations. He and Terrance Williams committed multiple killings together in the late 1980s and early 1990s. Mosquito was murdered in the early 1990s in the Colopy Projects. He went into rival territory after being suspected in a killing and was shot multiple times. Mosquito is remembered as one of the most violent members of the original Hot Boys crew. His story is part of Cash Money's dark history that Terrance Williams has recently revealed. When the smoke cleared, the empire remained polished, profitable, and powerful. But beneath its shine lay the ghosts of those who built it, their stories buried in beats, betrayal, and blood. If you enjoyed watching this video, click on one of the boxes playing on your screen to watch more similar content.